there, Xadian here. Legacy of Kain, while not the biggest cash cow in Eidos' field, was a prominent franchise in the late 90s and early 2000s. Beloved for its dramatic, intelligent plot and superb acting, Legacy of Kain has a cadre of loyal fans to this day, and I'm one of them. But we haven't seen a proper Legacy of Kain game since 2005, when Legacy of Kain Defiance ended on the best cliffhanger it could have given its bleak morals and ruthless protagonist.
The first bitter taste of that terrible illusion. Hope.
We have seen some action on the franchise. The result was bad. After buying Eidos in 2009, Square Enix Europe created the open beta for Nosgoth, an arena fighter that crumbled after a year and a half, for which we never saw the completed game. But why did Nosgoth fail so badly? And should it have ever been made in the first place? Square Enix released the open beta for Nosgoth in 2015 to the skeptical delight of its fanbase. At the time, I remember being cautiously optimistic about the game. It ran horribly on my laptop at the time, but when I could persuade it to run, it was intuitive and engaging. I'd even go so far as to say that I had fun with it. It was an arena fighter before those were as big as they are now, and worked in kind of a proto-Dead by Daylight way. Players would fight teams of humans and vampires, with the first team to a certain number of kills winning. Players were made to play roles as both humans and vampires, switching after a certain amount of time. Humans could choose between a variety of standard D&D classes like an alchemist or a hunter, and vampires could pick between fledglings of the different Legacy of Kain lieutenants, who we hadn't really seen since Soul Reaper 1, or Defiance if you want to get picky.
Terrell. Terrell. Yes, that was my name then.
Nosgoth fell apart after about 18 months, citing a lack of player interest. These days, the servers and forums are dead, and the people who spent money on the game are without recompense or comfort. Including my dumbass. Nosgoth had name recognition from a popular 90s franchise, Square Enix's money, a rabid fanbase who were pumped to see something new after 10 years, and a formula that sells really well in the modern age. So how did something so big fall so hard? These days, game companies have a very anti-consumer tone, so it's easy for Square Enix to say, Nosgoth is gone because you didn't love it enough. And maybe we didn't. But it was an open beta, and improvements on the game were Square Enix's chances to make us love it, and they failed because they didn't grasp what its fans treasured about the original series. And they have the audacity to blame us for that. According to a statement on the Square Enix forum, it had been a pleasure to build this game with our help, but ultimately its audience hasn't grown enough to sustain ongoing operations. Now, everybody goes into Legacy of Kain for something a little bit different, but broadly speaking, people come for the story, the plot, and the acting. Every single one of which Square Enix locked in the trunk of its car while it went off-roading, flipping off the entire established franchise through the window. Story? There is no story. Humans and vampires are fighting because of reasons. No Hilden, no Ancients. Can you at least tell us what timeline we're in? Get fucked! The established plot and setting that the fans have been invested in for decades? Nope, doesn't exist. You get a few names and a glimpse of what could have been. Okay, how about the classically trained actors who remain consistent over the games? Surely you could pry open the wallet and let us have one of them back. Characters, you're funny, that's funny. Here, have a dozen interns hissing and screaming into the microphones. I'm not about to pretend like I hate this game or that the previous titles were sacrosanct. I played a bit of each game in preparation for this video to get reacquainted, and there were these huge, glaring problems that a little bit of tweaking could have fixed, and Crystal Dynamics at the time just didn't. But there was stuff that I liked in each one, and there were parts of Nosgoth that I liked too. The controls worked. The models worked. I wanted to know more about the things that we were told. I loved the fledgling character designs and the abilities, which expanded on Soul Reaver's lore without outright retconning it. I liked the locations enough that when a game was lost, I would just explore the landscape. This was an opportunity to expand on Nosgoth as a place, and all of that potential was wasted. No effort was put into making fans happy with this game, and yet they blame us for the closure of its servers. Nosgoth was a sad attempt at a cash grab that Square Enix refused to develop when we didn't appreciate it enough. It was the most begrudging and half-hearted tumble in the sack since I lost my virginity. Could Nosgoth have been saved? No. Burn the crops, salt the earth. Could the franchise be saved? Maybe, but Square Enix would have to put in some effort, which they haven't done for a game in a very long time. Add some story, somehow. Either go full Overwatch and load us up with supplementary comics and stories, or just integrate them into the story somehow, but we need something beyond human versus vampires, kill them. Next, fix the gameplay. Balance the humans and vampires. You could make the Dead by Daylight comparison complete and make it a 4v1 fighter, or you could take the time to carefully tweak the characters' abilities to balance them. One of those will take more effort than the other one, and we've already established that Square Enix can't be asked. So DVD clone it is, which is fine. DVD is great. Lastly, bring back some of the characters and actors we've gotten attached to over the years. I know that may be hard given that some of them have passed away, but necromancy can be a beautiful thing. The struggles of the characters was something that kept us coming back for 5 games, and all of that investment is lost if the only thing that you do with it is just nod at it as you pass by. You gotta understand, guys, I love Legacy of Kain, and I've gotten so many other people loving it too, and it's painful for me to get people interested in the game and then have to reveal that it's almost impossible to play these days. Square Enix could have gotten a whole new squad of fans for this game, but all they did was earn the ire and distrust of every established fan that they already had, guaranteeing that anything else they slap the name onto will fail. When does this end? Selling us the same remaster of a game 3 times... Oh, well, I bet that they wouldn't destroy a whole 20 years of expanded lore... No. Okay. Well, they would never throw 9 games worth of story into a dumpster, then pander to Disney movies so that they could have a maximum amount of copies sold, then sell us the ashes of what we loved in DLC... Fucking Square Enix. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was just a subject that I was really passionate about, and I wanted to kind of, you know, open up a scarred over wound, just for funsies. Please subscribe to my channel for me clawing open more wounds that have aged poorly. You can also find me on Save Point Games, where I do a bunch of retro and modern stuff with my dad. And please also join us for Let's Play Sunday, where I should be finishing up something, if I'm not mistaken. I'm either going to be finishing it up this week for you or next week for you. I know that I'm basically done with the game, but let me know what you want to see next. Please also like and comment and subscribe to this channel so that I know that you're enjoying this stuff. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye.